At the 18th tee, one of the leaders, Paula Creamer, on the tee. Difficult drive at the par 4.
Second toughest hole all week here at Panther Creek.
And that will find the fairway bunker. And one of the reasons that she is amongst the leaders here at -15, this was Angela Stanford for a par. She was at -16 at this point. And a very uncharacteristic stroke and miss for Angela Stanford. Another of the players, veteran Sei-Ri Pak at -15, Amy Hung, IK Kim. And here is Pak at the par 5 16th tee.
A reachable par 5 16th. Dogleg to the left to challenge the bunkers on that left side.
Good position for Pak. And moments ago here at the 16th, Hee-Won Han. This for birdie to tie for the lead.
Came off making bogey at 15.
Don't blink or you'll have another leader before you know it. And at 15, IK Kim for a birdie, trying to take the outright lead. And that will come up just short. So she will stay at -15. She heads over to the par 5 16th. Count 'em: Creamer, Pak, Stanford, Han, Hung, and Kim, all at -15. A 6-way tie for the lead here in the final round of the LPGA State Farm Classic. What a shootout we have in Springfield. NBC Sports and the LPGA Tour proudly present final round coverage of the LPGA State Farm Classic. And as always, the historic town of Springfield, Illinois has welcomed the LPGA with open arms this week, and the players have responded with some brilliant golf. Yesterday's fierce late afternoon winds have given way to more manageable breezes today, and the scoring reflects just that. The forecast is for a chance of isolation. And that was not thunder in the background, just a little bit of a technical difficulty here in Springfield. Isolated showers have been in the forecast for the day, as you can see there, but really not much rain at all. Temperatures in the upper 70s, high humidity, something must happen eventually. And the wind pretty much from the east right now. Patty Pepper, though, the scoring average today just incredible. Let's take a look round by round.
We thought conditions were primed for good scoring in round 2. Shot and a half better today.
Over at the 16th now after a good tee shot. Sei-Ri Pak trying to reach this par 5 and 2.
A hybrid from 186 mark into the breeze. Hole tucked front left today. Very difficult to get to.
Jane Crafter out with that group as that ball dives into the bunker. And third round leader Christy Kerr is back on the 14th tee, the par 3. Just playing 185 yards today.
Really had a tough time getting this 4th round started. Very tentative with the putter, ball striking not as sharp as it certainly was yesterday. But you'll never see this player give up, ever.
And a good shot there, chance for a 2. And Christy just 2 under par for her round today on Sunday, which sounds all right, but she is getting stampeded at this point. Here's one of the co-leaders, Angela Stanford, on the tee at 15.
Needs to turn this ball around the corner against a fairway that wants to kick the ball to the right.
And you talk about highlights, Dottie Pepper. We have a gaggle of them today, starting right at the beginning of the round. This Paula Creamer for an eagle 3 at the par 5 first. 5
shots off the lead to start the day. Needs a great start. And gets it.
Panther Creek Country Club in excellent condition, particularly the greens. This Sayri Pak for a birdie at 2.
Fought her way back into contention with a solid back 9 yesterday in those high winds.
On the second tee, Angela Stanford said to herself, Sayri made it from a long way. I think I'll try and get it a little closer here.
And the shortest of the par 3s here at Panther Creek. Just inside 150 yards.
Angela would go on to make that. Amy Hung now, this for birdie at 8.
Looking for her first win on the LPGA Tour. This young gal from Taiwan makes that birdie.
Hee-Won Han, this for birdie at the par 5 13th.
And this veteran with 6 wins, but it's been a while since she's been in this position.
And Christy Kerr from off the green at 11 with the putter.
Missed the green with a short iron.
Dead center. Angela Stanford from off the green at 12, and they are going in from everywhere.
It's the acceleration through the ball, key for that birdie for Angela.
High above the 16th green, this Paula Creamer for an eagle 3 at the par 5.
Took every bit of her 3-wood to get hole high here.
She would tap that in for a 2-putt birdie. Jaime Izado, this for eagle at 13, up and over the ridge.
Just to throw a few more players into this mix, that 3 goes for her.
So Miyazato with a beautiful eagle, also at 13. Angela Stanford, not to be outdone, makes another one.
Got the ball up and down from long left to the green in 2 shots.
And she did drop a stroke at the next hole, the par 3 14th. Now, Hee-Won Han for birdie at the par 3 17th.
Just a touch of break from right to left, a very receptive hole location today.
That one will race on by and leave her some work. Amy Hung, second shot at 15, intermediate rough.
Intermediate rough, but room to chase the ball forward if it hits just on the front.
Doesn't carry the ball far enough, so she is just short of that 15th green, the par 4. Paula Creamer now at the home hole, and this is going to be a very difficult shot. Fairway bunker, tough par 4, Daddy.
Hanging lie, first element, get the ball out. She can get this ball anywhere on the putting surface. I think it's a big bonus.
Bunker to bunker for Creamer.
And a very long, complicated bunker shot left.
Back now to Angela Stanford, another one of the leaders, and Billy Kratzert's down there with her.
170 yards to the hole, Mark, and this up against the primary rough, but going in this direction, coming from an inward path, I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. Yeah, nice contact. She just kind of hung it out to the right.
And right it is, Billy, and that will dive into this bluegrass rough.
A little slide forward, Mark. Came in with the club face a little open.
It has been a wet spring here in Illinois, so this ryegrass and bluegrass rough is very thick. Growing by the minute. This now Pak.
So I hit a couple of beautiful bunker shots yesterday. There's another.
So she will have that left for a birdie and a chance to take the outright lead. That's how they stand. Creamer, Pak, Stanford, Han, Hung, and Kim all tied for the lead. And still a number of players that could win this tournament. Suzanne Petterson just 2 shots behind, but more than a dozen players between her and that trophy right now. And hello, everyone. Mark Rolfing alongside Dottie Pepper, and whew,
yeah,
When you were in a situation like this, a whole lot of players fighting for the lead, coming down the stretch, what was your thought process?
Well, we're just finishing the Triple Crown racing season, and I really liken this to a horse race with the players coming around the last turn. You don't see horses looking backwards. You see them running for the finish line. They're trying to go as fast as they can. In this situation, make as many birdies as they can. You don't let up. You just keep going.
You're not thinking of a final score. You're thinking of the lowest score you can make on every hole?
Lowest score on every hole. And you've got a chance here with these easier conditions to make some birdies and eagles even at the 16th. We could have... you just go as low as you possibly can. You don't set a number. You just keep going.
Are you watching the leaderboard? Let's say you're Paula Creamer right now in the bunker at 18. Do you want to know exactly where you stand?
I think I've got to do everything I can to make 4 and then look afterwards.
It will be a good 4 if she can make it. Long bunker shot. Very difficult to get the ball back to the hole, but gives herself a chance. And the scoring so much better today right now, Dottie. Why?
Well, the wind. Yesterday we saw gusts nearly 40 miles an hour. The finishing holes were absolutely brutal. We saw players really have no idea when the gust was going to hit, what direction it was really coming from. Today they had a little bit of wind pick up midway through this round, but they are playing in absolutely primo conditions right now.
Does this type of situation favor any style of player, or say a veteran player over someone who's never won?
When there's so many players in this situation, and it's a complete range. I mean, players like Savory Pak, Hall of Famer, it's so many players looking for their first win. I don't think in a situation like this it favors any one player or not favor another one player.
So Savory Pak extracts herself from that tie for the lead. She is now at minus 16.
But how long will it last?
She has got the par 3 17th and the difficult par 4 18th ahead of her. Back at 14, the par 3, Christy Kerr. Just to get within 1. So all the putts that were going in for Christy yesterday are hitting the edges today. At the 15th, Angela Stanford, third shot, right rough.
Pretty decent lie, pitching back up the hill.
Did a great job of sweeping that club through there, Billy. Kept it pretty simple.
And you've heard the voices of our other announcers. Billy Kratzert is out there with Angela Stanford. Jane Crafter with Savory Pak. And they are in for a treat, the final few holes. And there may be more, who knows? That is the home hole here at Panther Creek, the 18th. Savory Pak has the lead for now. Can she hold it? We'll find out when we come back. The LPGA State Farm Classic is brought to you by State Farm. To us, nothing's more important than being there. By Comfort Suites. Visit choicehotels.com/golf getaway. By Rolex, a crown for every achievement. And by Mirasu Winery, the official wine of the LPGA. At the par 3 17th, our first look from above at this difficult par 3 hole location. Not quite so tough today, Dottie.
Well, yesterday the players into a hard left to right crosswind had a hole in the back left.
That's certainly playing a lot easier today. Still into the player's face, the breeze. Nowhere near as hard.
She stands over and just looks like she's going to hit a good shot.
Well, this one is going well left.
That will hang just above the bunker. Not much green to work with for Pak. Up at 18, Paula Creamer with a putt she pretty much has to make, Dottie.
And it's a putt with very little break. Well, unlike a couple of weeks ago where she holed an important birdie putt at the last at Corning, doesn't finish the deal here in Springfield.
So this will be a bogey 5, a round of 65 for Paula Creamer, and that will not be the only bogey we see amongst the leaders coming down this difficult final hole. Angela Stanford now for par. Another short putt missed by Stanford.
A tentative miss to the left.
Yeah, back-to-back bogeys.
That is highly unusual for Angela. Just before that, this was Amy Hung for her par. She got it though, so Amy Hung remains one behind. Back on the tee. The final group, Christy Kerr.
A very important tee shot. Hole bends to the right, or bends to the left, fairway slopes to the right. As our good friend Johnny Miller calls it, the reverse dog leg.
And a good shot there. Yeah, it's in the fairway, Christy. So she is in good position there at the par 4. That's how they stand. Sayri Pak with a one-shot lead. She is playing the 17th where she has missed the green. Han, Hung, and Kim all trail by just a shot, and a number of players by 2. And what a finishing stretch we have here. 16, 17, and 18, and our analysts take a look at it.
The 16th hole par 5 plays 476 yards. In the first couple of days it played downwind and it played very easy. Yesterday we saw it play into a very gusty south wind, and although it still played under par, it was almost half a shot harder. You've got to try and cut the corner, you've got to carry it 226 yards. The hole today is tucked front left, just 7 on and 4 from the left. I believe we could still see a lot of birdies and maybe the occasional eagle.
Yesterday, with the high winds and the back left hole location, the 17th played is the most difficult. But today in the 4th round, it's going to play 170 yards. You have a front hole location, 8 paces on, well in from the edges, and you have a backstop behind the hole. So the players should be able to get the ball relatively close to the hole today.
The 18th hole here at Panther Creek is one of the very best finishing holes on the LPGA Tour. We saw it set the stage for today's very squished leaderboard with bogeys by Ai Miyazato and Christy McPherson. It's all set up by a very important tee shot. At 250 yards, this fairway is pretty wide right before the bunkers. But if you take the chance to play a shorter second in here, you're going to have to shape a tee shot with a very clear and concise plan to get to this hole.
And different style holes, but a little reminiscent of the finish at the TPC Sawgrass, where you have the reachable par 5 16th, one of the easiest holes on the course, difficult par 3 17th, and then the brutal 18th. Water all down the right hand side here. It's down the left there in Ponte Vedra. Speaking of 18, here's Hee-Wan Han. Just a shot behind. And that is a beauty there, very makeable.
And may need to make that putt.
Moments ago, over at 16, the par 5, IK Kim, her 3rd shot.
IK, a winner late last year at the Long's Drugs event, has had a solid season so far in 2009, but still winless for this year.
And now live, Suzanne Petterson for an eagle, just to get within 1.
This ball will break to the left. Needs to keep up its pace, though.
Good hole. Good hole.
Looks pretty good for a long time. Suzanne been fighting the flu all week here in Springfield. That's why she is wearing the long sleeve sweater when it's in the upper 70s out here.
Actually contemplated not even starting Friday's 2nd round. Went in the fitness trailer, had a bunch of warm towels on herself, trying to just get rid of the chills.
Over at 17 now, Sayri Pak, 2nd shot.
And a touchy little one it is, Mark. Good lie in his primary rough above the bunker. But the green slopes away from her all the way to the flag. Oh, and that's beautifully judged.
No problem for Pak. That was no problem for Suzanne Petterson, who did make her birdie. So Sayri with the 18th in front of her. We'll go there at minus 16. Back to Christy Kerr now. 2nd shot at 15. And just through the green there, but plenty of green for the next shot. Want updates on golf whenever and wherever? Use NBC Sports Mobile and get them right on your cell phone. Just text the word golf to 51515. That's NBC Sports Mobile for updates. IK Kim for birdie at 16 after chipping the ball well by.
Just get the sense if you let up for just a smidge, the whole world's going to pass you by. You defy the ball. It must go in.
Well, that one did go in. So IK Kim now has joined Se-Ri Pak atop the leaderboard. They are at -16. Hee Won Han and Amy Hung are close, but the difficult 18th awaits Se-Ri Pak when we come back. Welcome back to the LPGA State Farm Classic. Christy Kerr, her third shot at the 15th. Se-Ri Pak did tap in at 17 for her par.
You can hear the grass between the club face and the golf ball. Mark fluffed it. Just not sharp today.
So a lot of work left for Christy there. Up at 16 now, second shot for Amy Hung out of the right rough.
Yeah, just trying to put it back in play, Mark. Very thick Kentucky bluegrass. Nicely done.
She only missed the fairway by about a foot, Billy, but it's all the difference in the world there.
It certainly was.
Some of the thickest rough, very close to the fairways.
Mentioned before, it's been a wet spring here in Illinois and cool, as he said, Dottie. So this rough, not particularly long. I've seen it longer, but it is very thick this year. Driving extremely important to get the ball in play here.
Conditions the players facing this week very similar to what they're going to face next week at the LPGA Championship.
And one of the reasons why such a good field has showed up here in Springfield, as usual. 19 of the top 20 money winners on the LPGA teed off this week.
And here is one of those 19 of top 20 in Kyung Kim at 8th on the money list.
Made a bogey and 2 pars, IK has, in her first 3 trips around this golf course here at 17. And just right of the hole, good distance control there, so a chance for a 2.
Putt up the fall line that won't have an incredible amount of break or speed.
Helen Alfredson in the background there. Had a chance when the day started, but she is just 2 under for the day, so she is now a full 4 shots behind as we go back to Angela Stanford.
And 195 yards to the hole. This second shot plays uphill and back into the breeze, and Angela's going to have to come across that bunker that fronts that left portion of the green.
4 under par on this hole this week.
Ooh, trying to draw it in. This is a little low.
Low bullet right at it.
Couldn't tell if it held the green or not, Dottie.
Well, it just went through, Billy, but not a real bad spot back there. Lots of green to work with. So a very aggressive shot by Angela Stanford. Obviously good feelings here, good karma at 16. And here's why. Second shot in Friday's second round at the par 5.
Yeah, wind blowing out of the north on Friday. A bit of help for the players. There were 16 birdies here, or excuse me, 16 eagles on Friday. That nearly a double.
And one of the hottest players in ladies golf right now, Angela Stanford.
3 wins coming since last fall. Started out the year at Turtle Bay with a win.
Do you see a time when she can be the #1 player in the world, Daddy?
You know what? It doesn't matter if I think she can. She'll tell you she believes she can.
So now, Se-Ri Pak, critical tee shot here at 18.
It is critical indeed, Mark, and wind is blowing from the right slightly into her face. New caddy Matt Gelch's first week on the bag for him.
She's played the hole in 10 shots in 3 rounds, a pair of birdies and a par.
Those birdies Thursday and Friday.
There's a good-looking golf shot here.
Well-balanced golf swing.
Really swinging beautifully right now, Dottie. I'm very impressed with the ball striking.
Well, part one of the job is done for Se-Ri Pak in play off the tee at 18. This was moments ago back at 15. Christy Kerr, who is very good from this distance usually. This was for a par.
Usually just oozing confidence from here. A little quicker through transition than we saw her yesterday when she poured in putt after putt from that distance.
So Christy Kerr, who is at -14, trailing by 2, will drop a shot. And while we have a moment, on Father's Day weekend, catch golf's best in golf's toughest test, the 109th U.S. Open, part of NBC Sports Championship season, in 2 weeks on NBC. And don't forget, we will be on the air on Thursday and Friday from Bethpage. What a championship that is promising to be. Tiger Woods rounding back into form, and Phil Mickelson will no doubt thrill the New York crowds once again. Right now, here in Springfield, Se-Ri Pak and In Kyung come lead. Welcome back to Panther Creek Country Club, Springfield, Illinois. Final round of the LPGA State Farm Classic. Amy Hung, third shot at the par 5 16th.
She's hit several shots where she's taken it in kind of low and put a lot of action on it. Same type shot.
Sit down.
Really cut off the follow through.
Well done, Dottie.
Very well done.
Up at 18, Hee-Won Han now after a considerable wait. Pair of rulings from her fellow competitors in this group.
And as typical, using her caddy Sean Clues, help her pick out an intermediate point, get the club face lined up on that, and then roll the ball over the top of it. Another weak putt coming in.
Not much conviction on that one, and a putt she probably needed to make. Still a good finish. So Han around a 65 today, and she gets in at -15. Now Angela Stanford, third shot at 16.
Well, a lot of tilt in this green towards the hole. Just has to carry it just over the fringe.
Didn't quite get it high enough, Billy, but did a great job with the speed.
Well, not a bad piece of judgment there.
She's had a little trouble from that distance, though, Billy, the last half hour, and that will be a very important putt for Stanford. And now over at 17, IK Kim, who hit a nice tee shot just right of the hole, hole high, this for a 2, and the outright lead.
Won the 2005 U.S. Girls Junior Championship. Putt moving left here.
Never a doubt on that one. IK Kim has grabbed the lead. She has just one hole she hopes remaining, the difficult 18th. Se-Ri Pak, who trails her by a shot, is in the fairway up ahead at 18.
And how about the confidence of that stroke?
Beautiful, beautiful putt. Back at 16 now, Amy Hung. Trying to get to 16. That was left all the way. So she'll have a little work for her par, and up at 18 now, the important second for Se-Ri Pak.
And Se-Ri's chosen a 6-iron here from 177, wind from right to left. Her normal ball flight should be holding it back into this breeze. She does like to work it from left to right.
Get up.
One club shy, Jane.
Yeah, I agree. Starting it that way, Dottie, working it, trying to work it back into the breeze, really knocked it down.
So on the green, but a long way from a birdie 3, which at this point trailing by a shot she may need, although IK Kim still has this 18th to play. Now, Angela Stanford for birdie at 16. No problem there, so Angela gets to minus 15. She trails by 2. But speaking of twos, it was IK Kim with a beautiful birdie 2 at 17 that has now gotten her into sole possession of the lead. Se-Ri Pak with a long birdie attempt up at 18 when we come back to the State Farm Classic. Welcome back to the final round of the State Farm Classic. On the 18th tee, the leader, IK Kim.
10th ranked player in the world. Like Se-Ri Pak ahead of her, going with 3 wood off the tee. Getting a little close to that bunker area, but pulls up just short. Wonderful angle left, Mark.
That's why the players are hitting 3 woods off that tee, Daddy. You can see the fairway narrows as you get up toward the bunker, and of course water on the right all the way. Just 1 victory in her career, IK Kim. And she has birdied this hole once, so got some good feelings about this 18th.
Heck, that 4 there yesterday was pretty valuable too. Conditions were brutal.
Well, let's regroup here for a second and see how they stand. IK Kim in the fairway at 18 has a 1-shot lead over Se-Ri Pak, who is up on the green with a long birdie attempt. A couple of 65s already in the house. Good scoring. Yoon Hee Ji 63. The highest score amongst the top 10 players on the leaderboard right now is minus 4. It's the worst score.
I do believe we're seeing a little bit of a carryover from the event at Corning, where the players had the same sort of conditions. They had to make birdies just to keep floating in a neutral position, getting accustomed to playing good golf, low scores when it really counts late in the week.
Mai Miyazato needs a couple of birdies. Coming in, this at 17, the par 3.
Well, just a slight bit of breeze, just maybe a little bit in her face, but predominantly from left to right. Going with 5-iron.
Oh, gets a good hop there, Billy.
Yeah, nice shot, flag high, maybe a little past flag high.
So a chance for a 2 for Miyazato. Player who has not won yet in her career on the LPGA, a mystery to many. Came out with such high expectations.
And Dottie, I think you get a day like this that you and Mark were talking about, where the wind is down, the players are going low with the scores, but you get an overcast day like this, all of a sudden your depth perception becomes very keen, and the shots get really close to the hole.
I think it also helps that when you get this overcast sort of conditions with the humidity as high as it is today, greens don't dry out later in the day. You don't need to really pay them a whole lot of respect when you're firing at these flag sticks.
Good point. Most iron shots today, Stanford has elected to go right to left with. So going with a 6-iron here, she's going to have to get this pretty much right in the middle of the club to get it all the way there.
12 of 16 greens so far today, Billy.
She's pulled this a little bit.
Oh, nice bounce though. So it kicks right, although it'll be deep into the green, but still on the green for Stanford. Up ahead at the 18th now, Se-Ri Pak is waiting. There's another ruling here within Se-Ri's group. So never a good situation, Dottie, when you can't keep your normal tempo and rhythm.
No, but I think that's where the bit of being a veteran will pay off. No doubt she's had that happen before.
And as we pan down to the 17th tee, Amy Hung.
She's managed herself around the golf course pretty well today. I've been very impressed with the shots she's hit, the quality of the shots that she's hit. She too has a 5-iron.
Certainly wouldn't have thought this player finished 114th on the money list last year.
Well, as soon as I say that, that's the worst shot she's hit.
The curse of the announcer. Nice going, Billy.
So Amy Hung with some issues at 17, a difficult pitch over the corner of the bunker. And moments ago at 18, Ji-Young Lee
Heard a little roar.
and making a little money. Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Got her inside the top 10.
So that'll be a nice vision, Dottie, for Sayri Pak as she gets ready to hit her long birdie attempt.
Well, Mark, it certainly is long. I'd say about 45 feet uphill. Hole today located on that top plateau, the back of the green. So she's got to go up and over this ridge, should work from right to left.
Jane, do you have a sense that she knows that IK Kim is minus 17 behind her?
Well, there's a big scoreboard behind her, and she's had plenty of time to check it out. So I venture to say she probably does.
There is that big scoreboard.
The difficulty here is getting enough speed on it.
This to tie for the lead.
Coming in a little bit warm.
Well, at least she gave it a chance. That's still not an easy one coming back.
And a very interested spectator. Oh, some 160 or so yards, I would imagine, down the fairway. IK Kim.
Watching, no doubt, a player that was a player she certainly looked up to as a youngster. See her influencing so many of these South Koreans. Their work ethic.
Back at 16, Christy Kerr, third shot on the par 5, one she would love to dunk.
I think she has to.
Good line, comes up just a little short, about 3.5 feet. So Christy Kerr with a chance for a 4 at 16. That would get her to minus 14, but she would still trail IK Kim. Can Kim make par at 18? We'll find out.
Really? Yeehaw. So this is for double-digit birdies today? How's that? Where did she make all of the whoopses? She made 2. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. Stop it. You're right. It pains me to say that. Hasn't made a par since 8.
Who?
Stanford.
Oh my heavens.
Yeah.
We got to show that card.
That's
if
a
we get
busy
chance.
scorekeeper. Yeah, can we see that card? Angela Stanford's scorecard? It's wild.
Caddies, go ahead and hug this sound guy over there.
God.
Yeah.
Work it, work it.
Hey, Dottie,
Yeah, Billy.
she's looking for her first par back here.
That's what we were just saying.
Welcome back. Final round of the State Farm Classic boiling to a finish. This was a moment ago. Sayri Pak for par at 18. And She posts minus 16. And watching out in the fairway, the leader, IK Kim, who has hit a good drive, has the ball in play, and she is at minus 17. As hugs around for Se-Ri Pak, and there is IK right there. Pak in with a round of 66. Will it be good enough? Only time will tell. And anywhere on the putting surface would be a pretty good shot right now, Daddy.
It certainly would, and if she could somehow get this ball to just bleed a little bit to the right from the center of the green, it'd be a bonus. Bite, has she turned it over?
Oh, it lands very softly. Excellent shot under the circumstances for IK Kim.
And that just incredible illustration of how much easier it is to play one of those hybrids into the green in a tough situation under the pressure than what used to be an old 3 or 4 iron.
And a little bit of an exhale there from IK.
As there should be.
Glad to have that one over with. Angela Stanford now.
Has not made a par mark since the 8th hole.
It is a wild-looking scorecard for Angela.
We may just see it, though.
Up at 16, Christy Kerr for birdie. Somehow trying to claw her way back into it. And with Kim in good shape at 18, it would appear like she will need at least 2 more shots, probably 3. Amy Hung now for par. You saw her miss the green long and left at 17. Was only able to pitch it to there.
Wow, that ball actually looked like it broke a tad uphill at the last second.
So a bogey. But IK Kim walking up to the 18th green. Her 3rd year on the LPGA. Again, only 1 win. Had an excellent season last year. Won over $750,000 on the LPGA. 22nd on the money list. Tied for 3rd in the U.S. Women's Open, she did.
We talked a little bit about Se-Ri and her influence on all of the South Koreans who have come over to the LPGA Tour. And I don't think there's a better picture than the fact that there have been 75 Korean titles on the LPGA Tour, 25 different winners.
It has to be a thrill for players like IK Kim to be able to come out and compete with Se-Ri Pak, who they watched all those years and who now is just a shot behind IK Kim. And speaking of Se-Ri, she is down with Jane.
Oh, thank you, Mark. You said to me, where's IK? What's she doing? She's playing out of her mind. But you played pretty darn well yourself.
Yes, I am actually. I got really solid around 4 days. At the same time, I'm back in the track, so I feel really great about it. But so I said, the little one, she's not really give up me though. I mean, I'm trying to really hard for all golf course all day 18, but I think she's a really good player. So I think I'm really happy for her.
Well, you were certainly an inspiration for that generation of South Koreans. But speaking of your game, you've got to be excited heading into the LPGA Championship next week. You won that in 07. You've got to be feeling pretty good.
I am. I have really confidence about my game. Starting last couple of weeks, I back in the way I wanted. I feel hitting solid. I have a lot of confidence. I feel really comfortable, actually. And that's the most important thing is I'm really happy about it. So overall, so I said earlier, I'm back in my track. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, and you have a new caddy on the bag this week. Obviously, good feelings for that. And perhaps that's maybe what you need, a little bit of a shake-up of the system and a new putter, too. I hear it's an old one.
Yeah, I was finding a couple hours to find the old putter in my closet. But it's working, actually. But I know that putter working really well was a long time. So I, sometimes working for a long old putter. Shouldn't change it. But, I'm just back again. I putt well. I'm making some putts. I'm pretty good to go.
Well, we enjoyed watching you and all the best for next week. Thanks for taking some time.
Thank you.
To you, Mark.
All right, Jane Se-ri Pak, as we look at IK Kim there. Se-ri did not start playing the game of golf till she was 14 years old, and 6 years later, she won the U.S. Women's Open at the age of 20.
She won 2 major championships back-to-back that year. Pretty amazing.
And that lady right there, IK Kim, hoping to follow in Se-ri's footsteps, and this would be a big step in itself if she could win here at the State Farm Classic. Suzann Pettersson now will play before IK Kim, a long birdie attempt, and maybe we'll give IK a little sense of what's going to happen up near the hole. She's going to be chipping this ball from just off the putting surface.
I think really important for folks at home to not necessarily grab the most lofted sand wedge. When you get in the long stuff around the greens, these gap wedges, even if you can have a pitching wedge or a 9-iron depending on the lie, it takes the risk and the really bad shot out of the equation.
You only want to try and play the ball high in the air, Dottie, if you have to hit it over an obstacle, let's say a ridge in the green or a bunker or something like that.
Absolutely. Make it as simple as possible, where even a miss is pretty good.
She is, gets it on the green, rolling like a putt. Well executed. IK would have loved to have seen that ball up toward the hole, but she could see it was tailing off to the right as it lost its speed. A look from across the lake here at Panther Creek Country Club. 3rd year of hosting the State Farm Classic. Earlier today, this was Suzann Pettersson at the 6th. Her 3rd shot at the par 5. And an eagle for Suzann. Has not won yet on the LPGA Tour this year, but signs of brilliance again.
Been a very good couple of months for Suzann Pettersson.
Now IK Kim.
What would be a 2-shot lead.
Got a chance.
You have got to be kidding.
Wow. Did everything but go in the hole. So IK.
Maybe she needs to go down the road about 90 minutes to see a little baseball in St. Louis. That throw wasn't so swift.
Oh my. A good 2-putt, but one she thought she might have holed in 1. So now Angela Stanford in need of a 2.
Going with the fairway metal. Wind out of the right. Boy, is this an aggressive line right here up the right-hand side.
Scampers on by the bunker, Billy.
Wow.
And just through into the intermediate rough, but not too bad a spot. And the weather is starting to move into the area here in Springfield. Billy, what's it like out there?
Well, LPGA official is out here talking with Hung and Miyazato and Stanford.
LPGA official Angus McKenzie.
We are hearing there may be some electricity within about 3 miles.
Well, there's been plenty of thunder out here, Mark.
Angus McKenzie there.
See the back of it. No, that's a sheet.
Probably go to clubhouse.
Safe houses around the golf course in this residential
So we're just bringing the
development.
clubhouse on 18, correct?
Looking for the closest evacuation point.
So we have not heard a horn blow yet, have we? But play apparently must be suspended. Helen Alfredson electing to finish the hole she began, the 18th.
Had they blown the horn, she doesn't have this option. Blown the horn in a dangerous suspension.
So they have talked to the groups, the officials have, on the tee and out in the fairway. The horn has not blown. They've explained the situation to the players. There is the safe house sign you were talking about, Dottie. There are plenty of them. IK Kim with a big hug from Helen Alfredson.
Gives you an idea just how small this player is. Although Helen's 6 feet tall, IK stands about 5'2", maybe 3.
She is plenty happy that this weather did not come in about 15 minutes ago when she was back on that 18th tee. There she is. Sayri Pak with no chance to catch her. Angela Stanford is in the intermediate rough on the right side of 18. She would need to hole her second shot to catch IK Kim. We nearly made it, Dottie, but for the moment right now, some of the players headed to safety as the weather rolls into Springfield, Illinois. IK Kim, with a round of 65, is headed to the clubhouse. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the State Farm Classic, where play has temporarily been suspended here in Springfield, Illinois. Weather moving in. And while we have a second NBC Monday, it's the new hit of the summer. Celebrities complete live in the jungle, controlled by you. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on NBC. And there is IK Kim getting a little bit of a nudge there from Sayri Pak, her idol of so many years. And we have been told by the officials that the delay should only be 10 or 15 minutes, a very quick moving front, as can be the case here in Central Illinois in the summertime. Look at those final round scores, Dottie. 65-66, 65-66, 65-68 on that final leaderboard page.
Mark Rolfing, if we were playing a scramble, we had no chance. Impressive golf.
Christy McPherson, one of the overnight leaders, went out tied for the lead, shot +1 for the day thus far, and was stampeded. And while we have a second, let's go down to Jane with IK Kim.
IK, you saw Sayri Pak come and kick the dirt, like she was mad at you. But what a superb round! 8 birdies today. Did you feel that that was what you had to do going into today because everything was so bunched together?
Well, I really wanted to shot 3 under on front 9 and have a chance to going back 9. And I thought if I have 3 more birdies that I would, be, I didn't know, but, around on the top leaderboard. But on number 16, Sayri made a birdie, and then I had to make birdie. And then it was a little tricky putt, but, I made it. And 17, I was thinking about 6 under, and now I have to make 1 more birdie to be outright. So, but, I'm very excited and happy about the round.
Yeah, you've got to be very excited. It was a super round, and it looks like Angela Stanford has to hole out at 18, or you're the winner. So this would be your second career win.
Yes, I'm very excited. I mean, number 18, I didn't know what Angela's going to do last couple holes, but I'm very happy with, how I finished last hole, so.
Well, we're excited for you, and we'll have to wait and see what happens, but looking good so far. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, Jane and IK Kim, a player who is used to shooting low. She can make a lot of birdies. Here was earlier at the 9th hole to make the turn. This not for a birdie, but for a par, and a big one.
9th hole had proven to be so tough all week long.
Then up at the 11th, just from the intermediate rough on the right, second shot at the par 4.
Intermediate rough, but a really good angle at that hole cut in the back left today.
She would go on to make that for a birdie 3. And at 16, the par 5, this was a big putt for birdie.
As she mentioned, she saw Sayri ahead of her make one and felt like she just had to keep on going.
And how about this, too, under the conditions in this situation at 17?
It's really a situation where you just keep pouring it on. It doesn't matter if you're comfortable or not, you have to keep making them. This was really impressive, Mark.
Second shot at the difficult par 4. Turned it just a little bit left, but comes down softly. She would two-putt from there and post -17. And here is the two-putt. Nearly hold it.
Came close to just adding a little padding.
And that was it. Round of 7 under par 65. Comes up a little short there, trying to throw it into the gallery. And that one of the younger people in this gallery here in Springfield today. We'll give you an update on the weather when we come back. Right now, it looks like IK Kim will hoist that trophy. Cup final continues on NBC in a do-or-die Game 6 as the defending champion Red Wings look to win the Cup versus the Penguins. The NHL Stanley Cup final, part of championship season, Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern on NBC. And they are sending the players back out onto the golf course. Play has been temporarily suspended, only for about 10 minutes. And Christy Kerr with an interesting situation at her safe house, Dottie.
Well, she tried to go into this safe house, found out that they have cats. Christy's allergic to cats. It kind of summarizes the way her momentum or lack of momentum has been today. She can't even find a safe place to go.
Well, let me see. Cats, lightning. Lightning, cats. I think I would take the cats, but lightning, obviously, not that bad at this point. There is Angela Stanford. Her ball has come to rest in the intermediate rough, just to the right of the 18th, where she will need to hole her second shot. She's going to catch IK Kim. And there is a look now as the players head back out at what Angela is facing.
G.A. Shin and Christy McPherson there. They're in that last group with Christy Kerr.
And as Christy Kerr heads back out, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, and that lady there, hole her second at 18, we'll see. Welcome back to the LPGA State Farm Classic. That IK Kim signing autographs for the fans who are all lined up thinking she will be the champion, as is just about everybody else except for Angela Stanford, who is out on 18 with a chance to hold her second shot. Se-Ri Pak in the clubhouse. She can't go any lower. She's in at -16. And there is Angela right there. Still a lot at stake for her, of course, a pile of Solheim Cup points, which she has plenty of right now, but
a chance to move further up in the Rolex World Rankings. Angela's 8th right now.
And she did say earlier in the week, Dottie, that were she to become the #1 player in the world at some point, it would be a life-changing experience for her.
But I think what she also said to tag that was that she was ready for it. She was ready for the responsibilities and the added stuff that goes with being in that position.
And there will be a lot more responsibilities for that young lady right there, IK Kim.
Can't imagine much better momentum going into a major championship than to win on a golf course that was really set up the same way. That major will be next week.
Just 20 years old, IK Kim from Seoul, South Korea. It's her 3rd season on the LPGA. She was just 10 years old. Not much older than that kid right there when Se-Ri Pak won her first major in 1998. And now she has nipped Se-Ri by a shot here at the State Farm Classic. Great golf fans here in Central Illinois.
Ladies and gentlemen, play is about to resume.
And that Amy Hung, who has not teed off yet at 18, she in the group with Angela Stanford, who is up ahead.
Good target. And playing just a low one for the
Yep, long one, perfect.
Is that scoreboard?
Yep, I love it.
Here's a good reminder for players at home. Don't necessarily always have to find the middle of the teeing grounds. Use the width of the teeing ground to set an angle. Help you out in the wind, help you out when there's a bunker, there's an eye line that doesn't really fit you very well.
You can see that pro walk up ahead of the tee, Dottie. It looks like she may actually be lined up right down that to use it sort of as a visual runway. But a good tip for those at home.
Well, I would think her sight line is just inside the rough line on the right-hand side. Wind direction strong from the right.
Give me a little kick right.
A lot of wind, just like it was yesterday, Billy.
Looking for a little kick to the right, does not get it. That finds the fairway bunker on the left-hand side. Pretty popular spot this week with the water on the right, no surprise. Back at 17 now, Christy Kerr. Her second shot at the par 3. Christy at -14.
Downhill, moving to the left.
So she'll leave herself just inside of 3 feet for her par. And that, Angela Stanford now. Ai Miyazato in the foreground there. And when play was suspended, the player is allowed to mark the position of their ball. That's why she is placing it there. Talked earlier, Dottie, about the great golf fans here in Central Illinois. This is one of the longest and most storied events on the LPGA. Springfield been the site for years.
It was up at the Rail Golf Club on the north side of town for, oh gosh, better part of 30 years. And this is the third we've been at Panther Creek.
Well, Billy, other than having to hole it, what's she looking at here?
Well, Angela's going to have 171 yards. And as you said, she's in that intermediate cut of rough. Pretty clean lie, though, Mark, but she's going to have to come across the bunker. But now it appears as though Miyazato may go first. Even though I've got Miyazato a yard closer.
Conditions any different now, Billy, than when they blew the horn to suspend play, or just decided to?
Well, I think it's pretty much the same. The wind has continued to be a sustained maybe 8 to 10 mile an hour across this water. Now Miyazato.
Big bounce.
Yeah, it didn't sound like she caught it all that cleanly.
Very thin and a very fortunate bounce.
That was a big bounce out of that Kentucky bluegrass.
Chance for a 3 for Miyazato, who is 4 under par for the day. That sounds like a pretty good score. I'm sure she thought when she teed off, if she shot 4 under, she'd be in really good shape. But she trails by a full 3 shots. Angela Stanford opened the year with a win at Turtle Bay out in Hawaii. And as you said, Dottie has won 3 of her last 7 starts. That was going back to 2008. 6th on the money list this year.
And all the while fighting a balky left shoulder. It's taken up a lot of time and energy.
And what she's up against here, she's not going to be able to get a good clean grip on the ball with the iron, so she's just going to have to let this one ride the wind.
Contact sounded pretty good, Billy.
Yeah, and it just started riding it just a little bit left.
And a little bit short. So your winner, 20-year-old IK Kim, her second victory on the LPGA. Yes, I won.
Really bad. You got some on the back of your legs, too, I think, back in here.
Ooh. He walked 18 holes today.
First time.
Very energetic, well-spoken young lady, Dottie.
Well, she did her junior golf training at the academy on Hilton Head Island, and as we could tell from the interview with Jane Crafter, became very versed in the English language, pretty darn comfortable with it. But she said the hardest thing for her was learning how to come to terms with the Southern accent. It wasn't as she learned it.
Well, she's a great putter. She tied for 4th last year on the LPGA and holed a bunch of putts today, obviously. She was a co-medalist, was IK Kim, back at the LPGA Q School in 2006. That's how she earned her playing privileges on the LPGA. And we saw lots of birdies out of IK Kim today as we look at Amy Hung. IK Kim, a player who is used to going low, Dottie, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but she holds a couple of LPGA records, which are very interesting ones. Amy Hung now at -14, could use a 3 here. There we go. There's her mom.
She calls her mom her great inspiration and somebody who actually believes in her more than she believes in herself.
Now Amy Hung.
162 yards. Pretty good contact. That's about all. Yeah, that's about all she could do from there, Mark.
Well, there's a group of 6 players at -14, so she could break the log jam positively if she makes a 3 or negatively if she makes a 5. So Amy Hung marches up to the 18th, and IK Kim will march out to that green in a few minutes, and she will hoist the trophy at the LPGA State Farm Classic. We'll be right back. And welcome back. If you could hear people's thoughts, would you use it to help yourself or someone else? The Listener, a new hit series, Thursday at 10, 9 Central on NBC. And that little fella there, a good listener. Amy Hung, third, up at the 18th.
You mentioned making a big paycheck here. I mean, these are really important. Best she's ever finished on the money list, 44. And she's only made about 50 grand this year.
So she will go a long way toward increasing that. Now Christy Kerr back on the tee at 18 after a bogey 4 at 17.
Trying to ride the wind in from the right. Her aggressive tee shot paid off.
So a disappointing day, though, for Christy, just 1 under par. And Angela Stanford marching back down to her birdie attempt at 18. This would get her into a tie for second with Sayri Pak.
Well, she made those couple of real costly bogeys midway through this back 9.
Missed a couple of short putts. She did. That's what they're playing for, $1.7 million. State Farm, one of the really loyal and great sponsors on the LPGA. They've done a great job with this event.
Just over $20,000 riding on this putt for Angela Stanford.
Did you think about money in a situation like this when you knew you couldn't win?
You know, it brings up a good point. I didn't, and I had heard it as a story, a kid, Lee Trevino, talking about whether you played for money or how you thought about it, and he said, you know, it's not really mine. I haven't staked the claim to it. It's all bonus.
And that's a good way to look at it. So Angela Stanford will come up a couple of shots short. Good week, though, for Angela.
Had a good week in Corning, good momentum going into next week's event at Bully Rock.
So after taking this week off, Lorena Ochoa, and a number of weeks off, actually, Dottie, who's the favorite next week, Stanford or Ochoa?
Well, I think there are a number of favorites. I would look very strongly at Creamer. I would look for Helen Alfredson, who has some momentum going in here, but certainly Kyung Kim. And Angela Stanford looking for her first major.
Lorena Ochoa, of course, still the #1 ranked player in the world.
Hasn't played in 3 weeks. Taking a break before the majors really start to get cranking.
Jaime Izzato now for a 3 at the par 4. Good week for Jaime Izzato, but still looking for her first victory on the the LPGA Tour.
She'll carve out top 10s in each of her last 2 starts, so maybe she'll break through that barrier next week.
She will look back at that opening round of 73 on Thursday and rue that one. Amy Hung now after a great little chip shot from short of the green with just 1.5 or 2 feet to brush in for her par. Well done. Good solid week for Amy Hung. And there is IK taking another call. Yes, 17 under I shot. I won.
I just wanted to call and say thank you. So I will talk to you when I go back to this. Yeah.
Welcome back to the LPGA State Farm Classic final round. IK Kim has secured this championship already. This now Christy McPherson's second shot at 18.
She stood here yesterday, Mark, as a solo leader. Had a 1-shot lead, made bogey.
That was sort of a precursor for the kind of day Christy has had, +1 for the day. While we have a second last year, Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer battled in one of the most unforgettable Wimbledon finals ever. Don't miss tennis' ultimate test of excellence, the championships at Wimbledon. Part of NBC Sports Championship season, coming June 27th to NBC. What a match that was between Federer and Nadal.
How about Federer this weekend? Finally sweeps them all.
The Tennis Grand Slam. He caught Pete Sampras with 14 major championships. Christy Kerr with a nice shot there into this 18th green.
Christy Kerr will be looking for her second major next week.
And there is the leaderboard. Christy Kerr, of course, not on that final page right now. Neither is Christy McPherson. You see the name Angela Stanford there in at -15, and Billy Kratzer's with her.
Well, thank you, Mark. And Angela, it was a day where you needed to go out and make a lot of birdies. That you did. But then the backside, it was kind of up and down, birdies and bogeys.
Yeah, I didn't realize we hadn't made a par, and since number 8 till number 17. So, it was just one of those days. And with the wind blowing like this, you just got to keep going.
It's a golf course that is susceptible to low scoring. The wind kicked up in the middle of the day. I thought maybe the scores wouldn't be as good, but they just kept going lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, these girls are good. But, this course is very scoreable, but you can also get into some trouble. And I saw both of that today.
IK played just a tremendous round coming from that far back, and I think everyone's a little surprised that she caught the leaders, and I think everyone was surprised that Kerr did not play as well as everyone anticipated her to play.
Yeah, anything can happen in 4 days. And with the wind blowing the way it was today, it's tough.
Next week, major championship. You like your chances?
Yeah, I feel good about things. I have, there's just enough that's not good right now to make me focus and regroup, and I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Well played.
Thank you.
Back to you, Mark.
Thank you very much, Billy and Angela. Let's go down to Billy Kratzer.
Wow. What a round of golf today, and boy, you came through like a champion. It's your second win on the LPGA. Is this more savoring than the first win?
Well, I can't say that because I didn't know until what's gonna happen until 16, number 17. So I'm very happy and excited about today's round and overall. State Farm Classic is, they did a really good job with the golf course, and they treat us really well, and we really happy to come back next year.
Well, this is important. This is important for players to get hot because you have a major championship coming up. Then you have the Women's U.S. Open. This is kind of the time of year that it's really nice to catch this hot streak.
Yes, I mean, I was really confident with my game, but I think I was more trusting this week. You know, I have, you know, the game to, you know, play well and be on the top. So I'm very happy and very excited to play in the next major events.
Well, thank you very much, and well played. Congratulations on your second win.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Desiree. Mark, back to you.
And thank you very much, Billy. I.K. Kim with the championship trophy. And the LPGA State Farm Classic has been brought to you by State Farm. To us, nothing's more important than being there. By Comfort Suites. Visit choicehotels.com/golfgetaway. By Rolex, a crown for every achievement. And by Mirasu Winery, the official wine of the LPGA. And the 2009 LPGA State Farm Classic in the record books. I.K. Kim, the winner, with a round of 65. And Dottie Pepper, at the age of 20, can you imagine getting a check handed to you for $250,000?
Absolutely not. My first win in 1989 was $45,000, and I promptly lost the big check. I don't think she's going to lose this one, and I think we're going to see a whole lot more of this player. That was really impressive playing down the stretch by her, but I think the entire field, to see a scoring average like we did today under Sunday, final round pressure, that was really impressive.
Terrific golf by all the players here at Panther Creek this week, and we've been talking about next week coming up, the McDonald's LPGA Championship. There's a look at the 2009 majors. Brittany Lincecum eagled the final hole in the desert to win the Kraft Nabisco Championship. She nipped Christy McPherson on that final hole. McDonald's next week, of course. The U.S. Women's Open right here on NBC, NB Park, with that great victory at Interlaken in Minnesota next week. And the Women's British Open will round out the major schedule this year.
Going forward next week, I mean, my first thought is the LPGA has done a great job of setting up a golf course this week with length, with the rough, with the speed of the greens that the players will see next week. I think that bodes well for a comfort factor for seeing really good scores again next week. And I think you're seeing the level of play really start to step up this time of the year when it is so important with the major championships really in the next 6 weeks.
When you played well the week before a major, did you tend to play well the following week in that major?
I did. I was less panicked about the whole preparation, and I felt extremely confident.
Well, it's been a great week here, Dottie, for everybody. And, of course, State Farm in the final year of their contract, as we heard I.K. Kim say, we hope we are all back next year here to Springfield, one of the great venues on the entire LPGA schedule. Join us in 2 weeks on NBC as Tiger Woods, yes, Tiger, tries to defend his championship at the 109th U.S. Open. Coming up next, except on the West Coast, it's your local news. Then tonight, beginning at 7, 6 Central, it's Dateline NBC, followed by The Last Templar. It's all tonight on NBC. So for Dottie Pepper, Bill Kratzert, and Jane Crafter, I'm Mark Rolfing saying so long from Panther Creek Country Club. I.K. Kim is your champion.